The story of Ravenhill Farm begins like any small-town rumor whispered around campfires, ignored by newcomers, and buried under decades of Texas dust. The farmhouse sat on the edge of a dying town called Marston Hollow, a forgotten patch of land 2 hours from Dallas, where the wind never stopped moaning and the soil smelled faintly of rust. Locals said the place was cursed, that every family who lived there vanished or went insane, but no one could ever prove it. When David and Hannah Cole bought the property in 2018, they weren't superstitious. They were city people, young, ambitious, and tired of the noise of Austin. They wanted quiet, and they got it. The kind of quiet that presses against your eardrums until you start hearing things that aren't there. The first week seemed perfect: sunsets stretching across endless fields, the faint creak of old wooden floors, and the scent of cedar that hung in the air after rain. But on the 7th night, Hannah woke to the sound of footsteps upstairs. The problem was, the house had no second floor. At first, she dismissed it as the wind, but the sound was deliberate, slow, heavy, pacing right above their bedroom. The next morning, David searched the attic. He found nothing but a small wooden chair and an old doll sitting on it, its porcelain face cracked straight down the middle. He laughed it off, but Hannah couldn't. She said the doll's eyes looked wet, as if it had been crying. Within days, strange things began happening. The lights would flicker even when the power was steady. Doors would swell shut, as if the house itself was holding its breath, and a faint whispering sound would follow the wind whenever it blew from the east. Then came the smell, something like burnt sugar and rot, seeping through the air vents at night. Sleep became impossible. David started waking up at exactly 3:12 a.m. every single night, drenched in sweat, certain that someone was standing at the foot of their bed. Hannah began hearing humming coming from the barn. One afternoon, she went to investigate and found something chilling etched into the wooden beams: dozens of names, each scratched in jagged letters, ending with the same date, November 13th. The next day, she asked a neighbor about it, an old man named Jacob, who lived half a mile down the road. When she mentioned Ravenhill, his face drained of color. "You should have left that place alone," he said quietly. "That farm ain't empty, never was." He told her the story of the original owner, Elias Harper, a preacher who came to Texas in 1889. He and his family built the farmhouse and seemed blessed, until a severe drought hit. The crops died, animals turned violent, and neighbors claimed Elias started preaching strange sermons about feeding the land with blood. Soon after, his wife and daughter disappeared. No one looked for them. Only one traveler ever claimed to see Elias again, standing in his field, covered in mud, smiling as the ground beneath him blood red. Hannah wanted to leave that very night, but David refused. He insisted that ghost stories didn't scare him. That changed on the 12th night. He was in the barn fixing a light when a shadow moved behind him, shaped like a man, but impossibly tall, its head brushing the rafters. When he turned, the light went out. In the total darkness, he heard breathing deep and animal account. Then a voice whispered his name from right beside him: "David." He stumbled back, hitting the wall, and the bulb above flickered once more, revealing muddy footprints leading straight toward him. They were fresh, wet, and steaming. He ran. After that, he started locking the bedroom door. But doors don't mean much in a place like Ravenhill. By the 3rd week, the house was alive. The walls groaned, the floors shivered, and the mirrors began to distort their reflections. Hannah swore she saw her own face move even when she stood perfectly still. They were desperate, so they brought in a priest from Dallas, Father Maurice. He refused to even enter after just 5 minutes on the property. He said the house was fed, that something inside it was ancient, older than the land itself. He sprinkled holy water on the porch, and the droplets sizzled on the wood as if hitting something hot. That night, the whispers turned into distinct voices. They spoke in fragments: names, prayers, even laughter, and then one word, over and over again: stay. On November 12th, Hannah recorded everything on her phone. Her audio picked up faint whispers, footsteps, and even a child's giggle. The video ended abruptly with her screaming. The official police report says the house was found empty the next morning. The bed sheets were soaked with mud, and a single line was carved into the wall above the headboard: "The land remembers." No bodies were ever found. A year later, new buyers, a young couple from Houston, moved in, completely unaware of the story. On their very first night, neighbors reported hearing laughter echoing across the fields, followed by a sudden, chilling silence. When deputies came to check on them, they found muddy footprints in the hallway, 2 sets of prints going in, but 3 coming out. Today, Ravenhill Farm still stands, its windows dark, its windmill creaking endlessly in the Texas wind. Locals say if you drive past after midnight, you can see lights flickering in the barn and hear the faint hum of a woman's voice singing an old hymn. Some swear the land itself moves when it rains soft and wet, as if something underneath is still breathing. A few ghost hunters have tried spending the night, but none have lasted till morning. Their cameras glitch, their batteries die, and their recordings fill with static, all except for one. On that recording, a voice whispers softly into the microphone, "You can feed the land." But the land never lets go. So if you ever find yourself driving through Marston Hollow and see a crooked sign that says Ravenhill Farm for sale, don't stop. Don't look, just keep driving. Because the land is hungry again. Thanks for joining me for this chilling tale. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the dark corners of the world. Stay safe out there, and see you next time.